Ways to Enhance Your Memory by Becca Walker, Victoria Shepard, and Leticia Torres.
In order for information to move from short-term to long-term memory, it is important to practice memory-enhancing strategies. One strategy is rehearsal, the conscious repetition of information to be remembered. An example of this being learning your ABCs or numbers as a child, constant singing and counting your fingers. Another strategy is chunking, the organization of information into manageable bits or chunks. This can be useful when trying to memorize a phone number or credit card number. A third memory-enhancing strategy is elaborative rehearsal, which is the formulation of new memory by linking it to information already stored. For example, you meet someone named Elizabeth, and you grew up on Elizabeth Street. You are more likely to remember her name because you have linked it to a core memory. The final strategy is mnemonic devices, which is a memory technique that helps to organize information. For example, you want to memorize the order and colors of the rainbow. You're going to repeat Roy G. Biv in order to remember red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. This strategy is most helpful when trying to memorize names and formulas. Writing, making lists, and saying things aloud are other useful strategies to improve memory.
How to study effectively. Use elaborative rehearsal. This is based on the belief that information we process more deeply goes into long-term memory. This theory is called levels of processing. So basically, if you want to remember something, then try to think about it on a deeper level and link it to meaningful memories. Apply the self-reference effect. This is when you would try to make the material you are trying to memorize more meaningful to you. You could rewrite the material in your own words or relate the material to your life. When you do this, you are building retrieval cues in your brain that will help you remember the material. Use distributed practice. Rather than studying all the material at once, it's more beneficial to do it in shorter durations. Memory consolidation takes time, and studying across time allows for memories to consolidate. Rehearse. Review the material over time in small and organized study sessions. Organize and study your notes and take practice quizzes.
How to study effectively continued. A couple of other ways that you can enhance your study skills is to prioritize studying efficiently. Rather than simply going over the notes and facts you have highlighted, try making flashcards with the question on one side and the answer on the other. Then go through them and study the ones you got wrong until you have memorized all of the answers. Be sure to also give yourself enough time to go over the information, because as you do so, you are better able to process and retain the information you are studying. It is also important to note that you must take extra care to pay attention to difficult information. Due to something called the serial position effect, the order of the information you are studying plays a part in what you remember, so you're more likely to remember stuff from the beginning or end of your session rather than the middle. However, taking care to be more attentive or review those portions can work against this effect. Similarly, be aware of interference. This can include TVs, your phone, or even your family. In order for information to move from short-term to long-term memory, you need to be actively paying attention to the information you are studying. Beyond that, research also shows that continuing to move and exercise, specifically aerobic exercise, can promote neurogenesis, which is the growth of new brain cells in the hippocampus, an area of the brain known to play a role in memory and learning. Most importantly, you should get enough sleep because the brain continues to work even as you are sleeping, namely organizing and consolidating information to be stored in long-term memory. Additionally, as Victoria mentioned earlier, the use of mnemonic devices can be particularly helpful as you are trying to memorize information. Finally, by occasionally switching up your study routine, you can increase your long-term recall because you will be introducing some novelty to your studying.
And here we have our learning activity. We created a crossword puzzle, and you can find the answer key at the bottom right-hand side of this slide. And for our last slide, we have our references that we used for the presentation. Thank you for watching.